Hello and welcome to Granada Reports. We are live with the latest across the Northwest.
Hello, thanks for joining us. Coming up on the programme this evening.
On trial, 2 members of staff at Blackpool Victoria Hospital. The prosecution claimed they deliberately doped patients with sedatives to make their lives easier, or sometimes just out of spite. We'll be live with the latest.
Finally, the full list of Northwest schools with concrete that could crumble. Now, hospitals say they're also investigating if they're affected.
Celebrating at the Hindu temple that's been a beacon on the Bolton landscape for 50 years.
Sarah Lancashire, happy birthday!
Our Northern star, Oldham's Sarah Lancashire, wins big at the National Television Awards. We hear from her later.
And with temperatures reaching 28 Celsius in the northwest today, it's officially a heat wave. But how long can the hot weather hang around for? I'll have all the weather details a little bit later on from Lake Berwyn in Lancashire.
Well, first tonight, allegations that 2 nurses drugged seriously ill patients on a hospital stroke unit to keep them quiet and compliant.
The 2 nurses, Catherine Hudson and Charlotte Wilmot, are both on trial for allegedly, in the words of the prosecution, deliberately doping patients with sleeping pills at Blackpool Victoria Hospital.
Well, they both deny the charges. Our correspondent Mel Barham is at Preston Crown Court. And Mel, what's been heard today?
Well, as you say, the 2 defendants in this case were nurses working on the stroke unit of Blackpool Victoria Hospital, and they're accused of pilfering drugs from the unit and using them to ill-treat patients that they were supposed to be caring for. Now, the prosecution say that Catherine Hudson, the lady here with the blonde hair, who was an experienced Band 5 nurse, would dope patients up if they irritated her or if she wanted an easy life on her shift. Her colleague, Charlotte Wilmot, the lady with brown hair, is accused of encouraging her to do it. Now, one of the sedatives allegedly used was a prescription-only sleeping pill called Zopiclone, which is potentially life-threatening if used inappropriately. Now, opening the case, the prosecutor, Peter Wright Casey, said the defendants treated patients not with care and compassion, but with contempt. They considered them, or some of them, to be an imposition, an irritation. Now, this all came to light, the court was told, when a student nurse blew the whistle on what was happening back in 2018. Catherine Hudson had told the student nurse on one night shift, after hearing that one of the patients had been demanding, that she should just give her Zopiclone. Now, when the student nurse had questioned this, saying that she hadn't been prescribed it, Hudson is alleged to have responded, well, she's got a DNA-R, a do not resuscitate order, so she won't be opened up if she dies.
And Mel, the court was shown text messages between these 2 defendants.
That's right, Lucy. The jury was shown a series of messages which showed what the prosecution called the culture of abuse that was on the unit at the time. Now, in one set of messages, Catherine Hudson told her colleague, "I'm going to kill the patient in bed 5. Wilmot then responds, "Well, tonight sedate him to high heaven," with a laughing out loud emoji. Hudson then replies, "Already in my head to give him double." Then she later messages back saying, "I've just sedated him, lol, he was gearing up to start," and then sends another laughing emoji, to which Wilmot replies, "Praise the Lord." Well, both defendants deny the charges against them. The trial will continue here at Preston Crown Court tomorrow.
OK, Mel, thank you.
Well, now, finally, it's been revealed the full list of schools that could have issues with crumbling concrete, including 10 in the northwest.
Yes, Rishi Sunak was under the fire again at Prime Minister's questions after the government had to bow to pressure to publish the full list of schools affected.
It's now been revealed other public buildings are also being investigated, including a number of hospitals in our region. Tim Scott has the latest.
Yes, Gamal, a final definitive list of 10 schools in the northwest have now been confirmed to have rack concrete in their buildings. Here's the list. As yet, it's 3 in Bolton, 4 others in Greater Manchester, 1 in Cheshire and 2 in Lancashire. Oddly, one school not on that list was St Bernard's Roman Catholic Primary in Bolton, even though the head teacher confirmed earlier this week that potentially hazardous rack had been found there. We filmed workmen putting in safety measures to ensure the school could open. And as you'll see, there are no schools in Merseyside on that list either. So the numbers in the northwest could rise, as might the number of 147 nationwide. Now, as we've said, it's not just schools. We've made contact with a number of hospitals in our region thought to have rack concrete. We've spoken to Salford Royal, Royal Oldham, Aintree, Royal Blackburn, Blackpool Victoria and the Countess of Chester and Leighton Hospital in Crewe. We've had statements back covering 6 of them. At Aintree, Salford, Oldham, Blackpool and Blackburn, we were told rack had been identified. They said it was either being dealt with or monitored along with national guidelines. At Blackburn, they found rack concrete in the roof of the main hospital building. They said they'd now removed most of it and added, a further area has been identified above an administration block, and these panels have also been assessed. A qualified surveyor has confirmed there are no current defects, and we have a full inspection and monitoring process in place to check there is no deterioration in the structure to ensure the team, patients and visitors are safe. Meanwhile, at the Countess of Chester, they said they've been aware of their rack concrete for several years. It's in the roof of the Women and Children's building and it's inspected every year. They're currently constructing a new building and moving to that in 2 years' time. And how about this? A church in Astley near Wigan has also found rack concrete. The church has been shut for 2 years because of the problem and somehow has to find £750,000 to repair it.
We're a public building, but we're not publicly funded. So there's no public body we can turn to help us finance this roof replacement. We've got to fund this ourselves by crowdfunding, by making grant applications, by fundraising events. It's going to take an awful lot of car washes to raise £750,000.
So, some uncertainty going forward about just how many public buildings are affected in our region. What's certain is that for the government, this crisis isn't going away anytime soon.
Tim Scott's reporting there. Well, next tonight, and we love a good milestone here on Granada Report, and we think this one's a bit special.
50 years ago this week, the Hindu community in Bolton achieved something pretty amazing. They built their own temple.
Yeah, this was actually the first temple of its kind, not just in the UK, but in Europe too.
The worshippers there are, as you'd expect, very proud of it. Our reporter Claire Hanna is never one to miss out on a celebration.
The Saminarian Temple on Adelaide Street in Bolton is the oldest in the UK for this branch of Hinduism, founded decades ago by a community who moved here from India but didn't want to leave their culture behind.
50 years ago, 60 years ago, when our ancestors first started migrating from Africa, India, they came with very little. So obviously Bolton being a small town, this is the place to settle in. People have moved away obviously to be with friends and family who used to be living here, but now they've all come back to help us celebrate this grand week.
Today saw the spiritual leader of this sect of Hinduism, along with a number of saints, arrive for a ceremony called the Ritual of the Purification for the Idol. Men and women are separated for this on different floors of the temple, which has been steadily expanded since it was first built in 1973.
You look around and you see tears in people's eyes, you know, what they started and what it's come today, and for them to be a part of it and for us to be a part of it, amazing.
The celebrations also mean a lot of people need feeding. Volunteers have been arriving at the kitchen at 6 o'clock every morning this week.
In the lunchtime, we feed approximately 500 people. In the evening, dinner time, approximately 700.
How are the staff all coping?
Dedicated. They're superb. And we got one guy here, absolutely genius he is. He comes in at 7 o'clock in the morning and he goes at 11 o'clock in the evening at night time, and he does all the washings.
Does all the washing up?
But most of the washing, and he loves it.
This is a real community celebration. No one is being paid for any of the work they're doing. The temple runs on donations. Indeed, the changing of the flag, another important part of today, was carried out by a family who made a donation to do it.
That was pretty special.
That was very special, yes. We've been doing little practices and everything all the way through from the beginning of this year, just to make sure that we've got everything bang on.
It's not over yet though, with plenty more celebrations planned for the rest of the week.
We've got a big parade happening on Saturday, 4,000 people. A lot to manage, but well worth it.
Yeah, because how are your nerves?
At the moment they're all right, well, end of the week, we'll see.
Claire Hannah, ITV News, Bolton.
A week of parties can't be bad. That's a lot of people to feed, isn't it? Anyway, enjoy the week. Now, most of us have harboured a keen interest in James Bond and his gadgets at some time over the years, so prepare now to be shaken and a bit stirred by the sight of our next report. It features the largest and most incredible collection of one of Bond's most devoted fans.
The collector is a businessman from Greater Manchester, and his collection features in the Guinness Book of Records, but it's all going up for auction. Anna Yosef has this report.
The name's Bennett, Nick Bennett, and I've got a Guinness World Record for the largest James Bond collection.
We're at an undisclosed location, somewhere in the northwest, deep underground. This place is incredible. It's just packed to the rafters with all things James Bond. How did this collection, this obsession start?
I started with a little boy watching a film, and then years later decided to collect. That's how it all happens.
And you never stopped?
I never stopped. The Guinness World Record officially was about 12,500 unique items. So I think we're, probably around there.
Talk me through some of your favourites here. I can see behind you, you've got this item here. What exactly is it?
Well, that's a little film reel that you could buy after the release of Goldfinger. And the great thing about this was that it had a roll of Thunderball film, so the kids got to see Thunderball before it came out at the cinema. Here is Kissy Suzuki, and I've got to confess, it took me 30 years to find this doll. Last year that happened, and I'm very pleased to own it.
Why were you so determined to get hold of this particular doll?
Because
what was it about Kissy?
I knew it existed.
Could you put a ballpark figure on how much you think you might have spent over the years?
I remember going to stores and earning £30 a week, and making the decision that after my rent was paid, I could buy a toy, but maybe not food. So I spent everything I had and enjoyed it.
This is a journey that we're going to be going on with Nick, and I think it could take us up to 10 auctions to get through his whole collection. It's safe to say that it must be in excess of £250,000 comfortably.
I have to ask you, one final question would be, who is your favourite Bond?
Roger Moore. Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker, Bond Went Into Space. It was amazing.
It's safe to say that you'll always be bonded to Bond.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to watch every film as it comes out and thoroughly enjoy it, and I'm always rooting for the good guy and boo the baddies.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Man loves his James Bond.
Yeah, and there were such great baddies, weren't they, as well? That was always the bit that I liked the best. OK, let's get on to sport now. Manchester United have responded to the allegations being made about one of their players. So what have they had to say, Chris?
Well, not much. It is only a brief statement, but Manchester United say they acknowledge the allegations being made against Brazilian winger Antony, and they're taking them seriously. Anthony has been dropped from the Brazil squad after his ex-girlfriend claimed he headbutted her and punched her in the chest. Anthony says those accusations are false. United's statement says, as a club, we are taking this matter seriously with consideration of the impact of these allegations and subsequent reporting will have on survivors of abuse. Well, meanwhile, United's valuation on the New York Stock Exchange has dropped by £500 million after reports the Glazer family has decided not to sell. 9 months after they announced their strategic review, reports at the weekend suggested the club is being taken off the market until 2025. As a result, United's share price dropped by more than 18%, leaving their stock market value around £2.5 billion. Well, some more positive news for United today as their women's team has signed a Golden Boot winner. Midfielder Hinata Miyazawa became the first non-European winner of the award after scoring 5 goals for Japan during the World Cup. In today's cricket, there was an early finish for Lancashire. 5 wickets for Luke Wells saw them bowl out Northamptonshire for 266 today, which meant Lancashire didn't need to bat again. They won by an innings and 26 runs. Well, now we look ahead to the Rugby World Cup, which begins in France on Friday. Can you believe it's 20 years since England won it? Jason Robinson was a key part of that team, of course, and remains the only Englishman to ever score a try in a Rugby World Cup final. The legend of both Union and League is hopeful this year's team can also be successful despite their poor build-up. He's been speaking to David Chisnell.
Again, Wilkinson in the place.
It's one of English sport's greatest moments.
He's got it!
20 years on from their historic World Cup win, it's a memory that never gets old for World Cup winner Jason Robinson.
The last 90 seconds, the scores are level. Matt Dawson makes a break up the middle, and then Johnny Wilkinson slots over the perfect drop goal for us to be the first team in the Northern Hemisphere to win a World Cup. And 1 million people came out, changed English rugby, going forward.
Well, Robinson is a hero of both Rugby Union and League from his time with Sale Sharks and Wigan Warriors, and his try in the 2003 final against Australia saw the man affectionately nicknamed Billy Whiz become a legend.
What is it like to win a World Cup?
Winning one is the ultimate achievement for any player. I was a council kid that had never played rugby union, and all of a sudden, I win a World Cup with England, and yes, my life changed, and I don't think I had to buy a pint for a long time after that. Oh, this is the perfect pint.
Robinson has been pulling the pints as he prepares for this year's World Cup, which kicks off on Friday. And he hopes it will serve up similar success to the past, despite England's poor build-up.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
I'm sort of hopeful because I played in the 2007 World Cup in France, and we were awful. And we stumbled through the pool stages and we came out and we got to a final. So I'm hoping that's going to be the case for the team this time round.
Sale Sharks have 4 players in the England squad, and one of those, George Ford, is expected to start in place of Premiership winner, captain and Wiganer Owen Farrell, who's suspended for the first 2 games. And to go all the way in this tournament, England must keep their composure and show the traits that saw rugby top a poll for being the politest sport.
How important is it that England do well, not just for the team, but also for rugby union in this country, in the north, to get more youngsters into the game?
It's massive, because that's what happened to us in 2003. Everybody wanted to pick up a rugby ball and try it for the first time. Not just young boys, but young girls as well. It's great to see and encourage and hopefully create the next Johnny Wilkinson or the next Manu Tuolangi or the next Billy Whiz. So, it's really key for rugby going forward.
Well, as England rugby looks forward, it can take inspiration from its past.
It's over!
David Chisnell, ITV News, St Helens.
Legendary Jason Robinson. Can you believe that was 20 years ago?
Never
Absolutely
20 years ago.
not.
That's just what I was thinking. Who's your favourite Bond, Chris?
Oh, I would say Pierce Brosnan. Love
Really?
Pierce Brosnan, GoldenEye. What an absolute legendary film.
Good
Love
one.
that.
I really like Timothy Dalton. I know it's out there, but I really like Timothy
Roger
Dalton.
Moore.
He was good, funny, slapstick.
Highlight of my career interviewing him.
And his gadgets.
Thanks, Chris.
Now, great to see Oldham Sarah Lancashire steal the show at the National TV Awards last night.
Yeah, not surprising given her unforgettable role in Happy Valley, and of course many of us saw her hone her acting skills as Raquel in Coronation Street. Well, last night she also won the big award, the Special Recognition Award.
Yeah, there was also a touching tribute to the wonderful Paul O'Grady, who died in March. He was very much missed on the night.
Yeah, the shock for This Morning, which lost the Daytime TV Award it's held for 12 years. That went to BBC's Repair Shop instead. But lots of awards for North West talent.
Yeah, no surprise there that our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore was there till the bitter end to grab all the celebrity reaction.
What do you think your chances are? Gogglebox?
Oh, it's like, I'm saying no. Ant and Dec. No. 2 categories, come on.
Gogglebox!
I'm still in shock, to be fair. It's just like, poor Ant and Dec.
Don't get too big-headed. And are you still enjoying Coronation Street? Because I love seeing you on Gogglebox as well.
I love it, actually. I will stay for a while longer. I think it's a very good soap, but it's more than a soap. I mean, it's up tonight for drama series.
The Eurovision Song Contest obviously came to Liverpool. How proud were you of that?
Mate, absolutely, and you guys smashed it as well.
You know, I stink a BO because I'm so sweaty, and I've been just like shaking the whole way down the carpet.
Charlene, we got the green memo. You look amazing.
Thank you. I'm so glad you WhatsApped me yesterday to let me know that you were in green so we could match.
We've had a WhatsApp group with Charlene White.
Yes, we have, yeah, because Charlene, I'd said exactly that. Charlene, you got the memo, Ben, yeah? Green's this year's colour, right? Yeah.
I'm up for 2. It's amazing to be nominated for 2 awards. In one, it's top presenter against Ant and Dec.
And the National Television Award goes to Ant and Dec!
In the other one, it's Best Factual Show, but we're up against the late, great Paul O'Grady, who I think rightfully will get the award.
And the National Television Award goes to Paul O'Grady for The Love of Dogs.
It's lovely to talk to the Granada region. Cheshire boy, Manchester-born, Cheshire bred, but also went to school in Liverpool. So I cover most of the region in one go.
God. What do you think your chances are of winning with the 1% Club, which I think is brilliant?
Thank you. I'd say exactly 1 in 4. I love Granada Report. I don't know who set the microphones up, but I think they thought he was going to do the talking.
I'm now joined by NTA winner, Granada Report's biggest fan. It's only Southport's Lee Mack. Woohoo!
I love Granada Reports.
That's all you need to say.
I do, I love Granada Report. I grew up on Granada Reports. Tony Wilson, brilliant. Serious subject, but always ends with a thing about like the local grocer turning 107. And Tony was there, wasn't he?
And we're still doing that now. You started off at Granada, ITV Granada. God's Gift.
Yeah, God's Gift was my first terrestrial television programme.
Got everything coming up. A new show.
My Mum, Your Dad on Monday, 9 o'clock.
Tune in. Look at us, it was like a...
God, it was like we were kind of co-hosting something. We were like Ant and Dec there for a minute.
Oh, we were.
Oh my God.
Oh, who
Yin
were
and
Ant and
Yang,
Dec?
blonde and dark.
Who?
We're like ABBA. Knowing me, knowing you.
I always like take my shoes off.
Oh yeah.
You know, flip-flops.
Yeah.
And then suddenly this one walks in, you walk in, and I'm like, I better put my heels back on. Look alive, Cal.
No, man. I'll take my shoes off if you take your shoes off. How about that?
No one wants to see that one. Happy Valley won. You won Best Drama Performance and Special Recognition. The night belongs to you, surely.
Yeah, I've hogged it slightly, for which I apologise profusely. I sort of want to disappear now into a corner. What an amazing evening. I'm so delighted that Happy Valley won.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this.
Both my parents were at Granada. My parents met at Granada Television. My father was a writer there. I have a very deep and a very abiding love for Manchester, specifically for Granada.
We've both now got our flip-flops on.
God, I have my nails done.
Thanks, Granada Reports. I love Granada Reports.
Hey.
And we love you.
Yeah.
How nice is that?
What a fabulous night.
Yeah, but great.
We're not complaining. It's been another very hot day. So Joe's lakeside in Lancashire countryside. Hello, Joe.
Well, I'm lucky enough this evening to be by the water. It's still very beautiful, lots of lovely sunshine around, but feeling a little cooler next to Lake Berwyn, just outside Colne, part of the Lower Fulridge Reservoir. Very pleasant this evening, but it's been hot here today. In fact, across the region, temperatures in one or two spots, particularly Nantwich in Cheshire, have reached 28 degrees. It's the fourth day in a row. It's exceeded 25 Celsius here in the northwest, and that means the threshold has been met, the criteria is complete. We are officially in a heat wave. The hot weather will continue over the next few days and nights, and it's that combination of tropical nights and very hot days which makes it quite uncomfortable for sleeping, of course. Nationally today, it reached 32 Celsius, and the last time it was this hot in September was 2016. Let's take a look at the weather details now.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada Weather.
So another hot day here in the northwest, and that theme continues through the rest of this week. There could be one or two isolated showers around over the next few days and nights, but lots of dry weather probably until the weekend, when the risk of a few thundery downpours increases. A few on Saturday and possibly quite a few more heavy thundery showers during Sunday. The very hot air is feeding up from Europe and continues to do so over the next few days across the whole of the UK, with heat wave conditions across many parts of the country and some very uncomfortable nights for sleeping. That's certainly going to be the case overnight tonight. Misty conditions for some of us, in our towns and cities very warm. Liverpool and Manchester barely falling below 20 degrees. A little fresher for the Isle of Man with some low cloud and sea mist there. And you may just hear a few rumbles of thunder here in the northwest tonight as one or two isolated showers move up from the Midlands during the early hours of tomorrow morning. On to tomorrow, and first of all, the sun times. It'll be rising around 6:30 and it sets tomorrow evening at about 7:47. Tomorrow you'll notice more cloud around than there was this morning to start the day, and a few residual showers from overnight just hanging around, perhaps a few for the Isle of Man to start the day. But lots of dry weather, sunshine getting out, more hazy than today. Into the afternoon most places will be dry and very warm again, 27, 28 degrees, and in one or two spots tomorrow afternoon perhaps even reaching 29 Celsius. The hot theme continues as we end the working week. Into Saturday, perhaps reaching 29 or 30 degrees, a few thundery showers developing, particularly as we go into Sunday.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada Weather.
Joe, thank you. Have you bought your fan yet?
I found one at the back of a cupboard. I'd put it away too early, like the summer clothes. Everything's back out again, isn't it? Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.